Hello, this is Apostle Nataki Tompkins, and you're listening to Worship Center Radio, the platform of champions.
Plant a seed and watch it grow. $1 is all it takes to make a difference. Visit www.worshipcenterradio.net and click the banner on the right-hand side and sow a seed to Worship Center Radio, the platform of champions.
From Detroit to the nations, you are listening to the world's #1 Christian station, Worship Center Radio, the platform of champions.
Well, God bless you and good morning to all of you who are sharing with us. This is the Gospel Connection live here in the city of Detroit, Michigan. I am your host today, Bishop Andre Woods. I want to welcome you to this all-informative program, this music program, where we are certainly highlighting the best in gospel music. I want you to call your friends, let your neighbors know to just log on to the worshipcenterradio.net and click on the Gospel Connection, and you can join us for this broadcast time. We are so excited we've had a full week, and we want to thank our brother Anthony Howard for sitting in for us on last week and the wonderful interviews that were had, and certainly we want to thank all of you for all of your well wishes and connecting with us by Facebook and tuning in and watching on YouTube. We want to appreciate you for all of that. We want to shout out to our own brother, Pastor Christopher Hale. God bless Pastor Hale and the Allen Temple CME Church. We were there on last week in a wonderful workshop. Thank brother Dr. Dorgan Needham for his assistance and Elder Herman Harris for their wonderful time sharing with the saints in the CME Church. God bless you, Pastor Hale, and certainly we're looking forward to some greater and wonderful things led by Pastor Hale and the Allen Temple CME Church. We're looking for a wonderful broadcast today, and certainly I want you, those of you that are going to be sharing with us today, you're going to get an opportunity to call in. We got an interview coming up with one of Detroit's best musicians, and he's going to be sharing with us. But let me give you this information right now. Don't forget the Fellowship of Music and Arts. We're preparing. This week is going to be the week where you have an opportunity to come and be with us starting this coming Friday. That's Friday, August the 21st. Meet us at the Bethel AME Church right there on East Warren and St. Antoine. 7 o'clock. We're going to be there. That will be our inaugural, our first rehearsal and the gathering of the fellowship choir that we're putting together citywide. All are welcome. We're looking for musicians, singers. Listen, come on and be a part of the fellowship. We have some of the greatest talent anywhere you can find right here in the city of Detroit. And we're building this platform for new artists, independent artists. We want to welcome you. We want to welcome you to come and be with us. Directors, directors, we're welcoming everybody. Anything that you have anything to do with music, and those of you who are ministers of music at your church and musicians, we want to welcome you. We welcome pastors to come by and see what we're doing. The Fellowship of Music and Arts is just an aggregation of music lovers coming together that we can preserve, perpetuate, and continue to teach and to share our expertise in music ministry. We're going to be doing a lot of workshops and seminars and panel discussions about gospel music and all that it has to offer. And we want you to be a part of it. We want you to spread the word, all of you everywhere, to join us this coming Friday night, 7 o'clock, right there at the Bethel and AM&E Church, right there on the corner of St. Antoine and East Warren. We want you to hear a little bit of this music, and we're going to come right back with more information as we prepare for a wonderful time of sharing with an interview. Well, God bless you today. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord for all that he's done. That's the Reverend Charles Nixon, the St. James Young Adult Choir. Well, we're looking to hear from our brother, and we believe he's on the line, the one and only Dr. Professor Denard McCleary. God bless you this morning, my friend.
God bless you, Bishop Wood.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Well, we're doing wonderful. We're doing wonderful this morning.
Great, great, great. Listen, Doc, I am so appreciative to you for all of your help and what you've been to the music community over the years, and certainly for this last venture we all had together working with the National Baptist and the National Congress to put that choir together, and
Absolutely.
And what of course it was a great fellowship. What a joy it was to share with all of the great musicians, and then to hear some fresh, hot off the press gospel music written by our own, and certainly one of your selections was in the midst. And we certainly want to thank God for you and what you're doing with music, and how you've been a blessing to Detroit. And we just appreciate you. Now, you have so graciously consented to come and be one of our guests for our first musical. Now, this is a historical musical, Doc, and I appreciate you for the music and arts, the Fellowship of Music and Arts, our summer musical, A New Beginning. It's going to be held on August the 30th. I want you to tell us a little bit about Denard and your music background, and I know you were at the Unity Baptist Church and shared with other churches and musical aggregations. Just give us a little history on yourself.
Yes, Bishop, I've been privileged to be part of not only gospel music, but to be a Detroit native, to be a part of this rich gospel heritage that we have here in the city of Detroit.
Yes, sir.
Just a long lineage of great persons. You think that you could be born anywhere, but to be born in Detroit is just really special. And to have the privilege of starting formatively at the age of 11 at the Mount Calvary AME Church as a Sunday school musician. My aunt, her name was Rose Hopkins. She was a gospel musician that played for Dexter Avenue, as well as the Greater Mount Zion Baptist Church that was on Meade Street at that time.
All right.
Very instrumental. Her and my grandmother, whose name was Agnes Wood, she married Woods, and we have to talk about that one of these days.
Yes, sir.
Very formative. Then from there, my music teacher, his name was William Flowers, at St. Elizabeth Church on Oakland Avenue, and he saw something in me, and from my home church, he asked my grandmother, could he have permission for me to come and be a accompanist at the church at St. Elizabeth. And I served there, and then from there, things just took off. And then in the early 80s, met the acquaintance of the one and only Dr. Dorgan Needham, and he asked me to become staff musician at Unity Baptist Church in 1981. And I served there with Robert Anderson, one of our colleagues, a great musician here in the city of Detroit, writer, arranger, and composer in his own right. And we had the privilege, it was a powerhouse over there on American Retirement, because we know that you and so many others on the east side at St. James Baptist Church was holding it down, and so many things that we got to do. You remember they used to call the Big Three. St. James, Unity, and Donald Vale's Cavaliers. And one of the memorable things in our career was when we were asked by the Detroit Symphony Orchestra.
Right.
We were the first to do gospel music with the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, St. James, Unity, and Donald Vale.
Yes.
And so we started there many years, 20 years at Unity, and now I serve as a minister of music at the Calvary Baptist Church with Lawrence Foster.
Yes, sir. Dr. Foster.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, man. Tell us about your community choir. You've gathered an aggregation of singers that are talented and musicians as well. Tell us about Detroit, the Metro Detroit Area Fellowship Choir.
The Metro Detroit Area Fellowship Choir is a choir that was birthed. We're going into, it's 16 years old now. It's going into our 17th year. It's made up of a lot of gifted, in their own rights, musicians.
All right.
Who serve as directors at other churches and staff musicians at other churches. We sing a lot. A lot of people in the Detroit area have asked us, why don't we do more in Detroit? Well, a lot is because a lot of times we do a lot of engagements out of town. Internationally, we do a lot in Montreal and Toronto. The Lord has blessed us and given us open doors in other places, but we thank God for you and the open door here on next fifth Sunday to really gain exposure here at home. And we encourage everybody who is listening, wherever you're at, from Flint to Saginaw to Grand Rapids, wherever you're at in Michigan or in the Ohio area, Indiana, Chicago, you need to make it to Bethel AME in Detroit on next week, on fifth Sunday on the 30th, because it's going to be a lot of great things. And our choir has been so honored. We were asked to appear on program, and those persons will get a chance to experience the Metro Detroit Area Fellowship Choir. And what we do, it's about 30 persons who come together, lay egos aside, but all gifted people in their own right, and just sing to the glory of God.
Right. Well, man, we certainly appreciate it, and we're looking forward to hearing you guys. It's been a while, but listen, while I got you, I want to talk about this because we had such a good time, and I think a lot of the musicians that work with us over the last few months preparing for the June National Baptist Congress kind of hate that we're not meeting every Friday like we were. We had a ball, man.
We had a ball. Let me just say this. The Michigan Fellowship Choir, Baptist Fellowship Choir, which was spearheaded by Bishop Woods, and I'm not just saying this because he's on the line and I have fellowship with him, but he did a stellar job at bringing us all together. And, it's only certain people who can do this. They can bring that number of people together. He had a wonderful team, and Dr. Dorgan Needham and Leona Smith from Pontiac. But most of the work was on his shoulders, and to work with you and to see how you brought everyone together, all 400. And, when you're dealing with 400 people, you're dealing with 400 different personalities.
Yeah, boy.
And that's not easy to do. But it was done in such a way that every rehearsal was like a service. And we didn't want to leave. And so people want to keep this thing going. And it was just an awesome experience. And I'm still, people to this day stop me on the street that was there at Cobo on that Tuesday night, and they're still talking about the Welcome musical.
Well, listen, man, what our whole intent was, I said when they asked us to do this, I called Dr. Needham, and we got with Sister Smith, who's on the Wolverine side. We got BM&E and Wolverine State Conventions coming together. I told them we need to approach this different, and I thank God for the friendship and the fellowship that the Lord has blessed me with over the years in working with some of the greatest like yourself. And this is our intent, and this is our whole premise of putting the fellowship of music and arts together, is that there should never be a time when we can't come together. Here's the first thing that got me, where people say, well, we're not going to get together, we can't work together. I believe that's a myth, and that's false, because it was proven over these last few months. And what we're doing now is to reach out even further beyond just that experience, because there's so much talent here. There's some gifted musicians we haven't heard yet, some gifted singers we haven't even heard yet. And there are so many independent solo artists out here who need a platform. And somebody gave me a chance years ago. I won't even start calling names, man. All of the folk that poured into me and presented opportunities to me that had they not thought that much of me or looked at what I was trying to do and the potential I had years ago, starting as a young man, I had to be discovered, had to be groomed, and had to be tutored and mentored. And so now I think Denard, the Lord has positioned us to turn around and do the same for others. But at the same time, we can increase our influence and our territory can be enlarged, and we can reach out and do some great things. Absolutely. Like we used to do. You mentioned point in case. You mentioned gospel at the symphony. Now that's one of our goals again for 2016, to try to do that again, to take gospel back to the symphony and get the symphony orchestra to share with us. So there's a lot on the table, and we're starting with this musical on the 30th. Now we want to invite everybody this Friday, the 21st. This Friday, we're inviting singers, whoever you are, from, like you said, we're reaching out to Inkster, Flint, Pontiac. It don't matter where you are. You can come on from over in Canada if you want to, and come and share with us on the 21st. That's going to be our first time of coming together and meeting and putting a mass choir together of singers, and you're going to be blessed. We've got some of the greatest and finest musicians that's going to be coming and sharing with us. Doc, they've been calling and Facebooking me and inboxing and saying they want to come see what this is. So we're going to be there, and we're going to be preparing a menu of things. We're going to be talking about copyright and publishing, and we're going to be dealing with musicians and learn how to accompany, like you said, how you started, being a pianist, an organist, a director, and organizing music ministries in churches. Just an overall overview of what it takes to be a musician in a church in these days and times. And then we talk about proper selection of music and all of that. There's a lot going on. Now, from your experience, let me ask you this. What do you see in these young musicians, the most greatest need that we need to pinpoint to help musicians today?
In my opinion, and in talking with all of our colleagues, Carol Cole and so many others, the need for young musicians to realize what actual church musician is, what a church musician should be, what actual worship music is. Mm-hmm. I admire the new concepts that they have with the contemporary and the urban contemporary and the things that they do. But then when a preacher is ready to lift up a hymn, they sit on the organ or the piano, and they have to fold their hands because they don't know basic church music. Mm-hmm. And I don't care what comes or what goes, traditional gospel music and the hymns will always be the staple, the cornerstone of the church, of the black church. And this is something that they need to embrace more. And I think through the seminar, and I would encourage every pastor that is listening right now, you've been asking and crying out to us senior musicians to help the younger musicians. You need to come, pastor, not only with send your musicians, but come and see what the seminar is all about. Bishop Woods is accessible. You can ask him any questions, any of the board members, any of the panelists' questions there. Mm-hmm. But bring your musicians, bring your singers, bring your directors, because this is what this is all about, to educate people in the medium of gospel music in all areas and all facets of gospel music, not just traditional, but in contemporary, in the hymns, spirituals, and anthems as well. And we go beyond that. This is what really impressed me about what Bishop Woods has birthed here through this seminar. Not only that, but there are other needs to etiquette and protocol.
Oh, man.
All of these things will be covered. So you need to get your people out there.
Yeah.
And it won't cost a dime this week to bring them out.
No.
Next week to bring them out to the musical.
No.
That's the good part.
And that is one of the things we want to do. We're trying to make this available and no fee. There's no registration. It costs you nothing to affiliate and to come and be a part of the Fellowship of Music and Arts. What we want to do is we want to bring together people who are open to learn, open to see and be exposed. We want you to come and get the experience. You know, I think exposure is one of the greatest teachers, being right there on the spot to see how it's done by the professionals and to hear. That was one of my greatest teachers, man. When I was coming along, I went around. My mother and grandfather and them, they let me go to everybody's rehearsal. I had my little, back then, you know, they had cassette tape recorders, you know, tell you how long ago that was, you know, but I had my tape recorder, man. I was taping rehearsals, and I watched these musicians and how they conducted rehearsal, how they took a song apart and put it back together, teaching the sopranos, the altos, the tenors, the bass. I watched how they skillfully showed the musicians how to accompany on whatever song and how to play behind a soloist and not outplay the soloist. And
oh yeah,
I mean it's a whole lot, just little nuggets and teachings that they shared that I kind of picked up as I went along, and then certainly having the privilege to work with so many of them in the background. And I tell people all the time, I was so excited when I first started going to the Gospel Music Workshop of America, the Detroit chapter. That was way back when Dr. Needham was chapter rep, and going back with Chris Ware and all the original guys that started off, Alma-Lois, Hendrix Parham, and all of them that was back then, the beginning days when we were kids.
Oh yeah,
man, that was one of the things. I thought I had arrived when they asked me to play for Devotion. Boy, I was smiling for 5 weeks, man, because they asked me to get on the organ and play a song for Devotion. And among all the, I'm talking about Charles Nichols was there. I'm talking about Dorgan Needham, Donald Vales, Tommy Whitfield. I'm talking about all of the greats, man, that were there back then. Harold Smith, all of them, you know, Frank White. You know, some of the greatest that Detroit has ever seen and heard, they were all there, man. I was nervous out of my mind, but they saw something in me, and I thank God today for their influence on my music ministry.
And a lot of people don't realize that was a great time to be in music.
Oh, man.
And a lot of the young people, and I would have to be remiss. One of the other persons that I would say that gave me tremendous break and influence in gospel music just prior to my coming to Unity was the great and renowned Louise McCord Williams.
Oh yeah,
He allowed me to accompany her.
Yeah,
her back in the late 70s, and man, what that just to sit at the piano and go with her and to watch her how she did things, how how she carried herself at concerts was just a great boost to my musical career, and that readied me to be able to go on to a church such as Unity and to do some of the things that the Lord has blessed me to do in music. You know, just persons like that, and like you were talking about, all in Detroit, the Harold Smith, the Frank Whites, and the list just goes on and on and on. Matty Moss Clark.
Yes,
so
sir.
Many others.
Well, man.
Mean, this was just a great time to be alive in gospel music, and that's something that the young people, they've heard the stories, but we've lived the stories. We looked in these people's faces. They put their hands upon us. They imparted to us. We're of that generation, and we can thank the Lord to be blessed that, around people like Charles Nixon and so many others. Yeah.
Well, here's one of the things that really fascinated me when my grandfather took me to 104 Elliott, Pratt Tabernacle Church. We don't do this in our services. Not too many churches do organ preludes anymore and all that. But, man, we got there in time and to hear Alfred Bowden, he would come in before the service would start, to hear them do a song, a prelude, to just play a meditation on the organ. I mean, I was fascinated, man. Alfred, I'm talking about the one and only Alfred Bowden.
Oh, yeah.
The organist premier. And then after Alfred would play a verse, and of course, then here come Herbie Picard. He'd come down now, get on the piano, and together they would play a prelude, man. I mean, you talking about heaven on earth, the kind of music that we don't hear that kind of music anymore. Most churches don't do prelude. They got praise and worship and a whole lot of other new things now. But man, to just come sit in the sanctuary and to be blessed by such music of quality and the musicianship and the skill. You know, man, it wasn't nothing fast and crazy, but it was just soothing, and it was heaven, man, the way they did that. And then the choir would line around the wall and do "The Lord is in His holy temple," and oh man, it was exciting, you know.
It makes you want to go to heaven.
Well, man, listen, I appreciate your time today. We are looking forward to August the 30th. That's 5:00 p.m. at the Bethel AME Church. That's 5050 St. Antoine, the corner of East Warren, right there on the east side of Detroit. 5:00, we're going to be there. Dr. Denard McClary is going to be our special guest in the Metro Detroit Area Fellowship Choir. And next week, we're going to have Greg Eberhardt and the Inkster Community Coalition. He's going to be our guest and talk to us about being with us. Man, I want to bless you and thank you for your time. And I want you to just give us a word for these musicians as we leave the interview.
Thank you, Bishop. I had to leave one word to our young musicians that are coming up. One thing that is paramount in everything you do, you want to, number one, give God the glory.
Yeah.
Because without Him, we're nothing, and your music is nothing. And number two, be committed, faithful, and dedicated.
All right.
And lastly, be teachable. Be teachable. Listen, Bishop, I thank you for this opportunity. And I want to say this to perhaps my friend James Smith in the Buffalo, New York area.
All right.
Detroit is only a 3-hour drive away by way of Canada. So those of you in Buffalo, you have time enough to make it down here on the 5th Sunday, so that would be wonderful. So I'm going to ask James to inbox me and let me know if some of you guys are going to get down and come down as well on the 5th Sunday to share in with us.
Yes, sir, that'll be great, man. Listen, we're going to pass the word, and even after the broadcast, we're going to be texting and Facebooking and doing everything else, DetroitGospel.com. We doing all of it so we can get the word out. Well, I appreciate you, man, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank God for you, and we pray that God's blessings will be upon your ministry.
And you too as well, Bishop. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Now, that was the one and only Denard McCrary. Don't forget, we're going to be in musical celebration, the Fellowship of Music and Arts. That's August the 30th. But I want to invite you to meet us this Friday, August the 21st at 7 p.m. We're going to be at Bethel AME Church right there on St. Antoine and Warren. We're going to have a great time. All musicians, songwriters, singers, listen, you are welcome to come and be a part of the Fellowship of Music and Arts. We're going to more music now. The Lord wants to bless your soul, and certainly we want you to be blessed.
Now, if you need a blessing, a blessing from the Lord, Just let the Lord take control. For the Lord is standing. He's ready to bless your soul. For He's ready. He's willing. He's able. He is waiting. For the Lord wants to bless your soul. Now if you need a blessing from the Lord.
And if you need a way made for you, God is standing by.
Now whatever the problem, great or small, just let the Lord take control.
The Lord is standing. He's ready to bless you. He's ready, willing, able. He's waiting. For the Lord wants
He is ready, he is willing, he is able. He is ready to bless your soul. Listen, that was a recording done some years ago, and of course yours truly on vocals, Sister Claudette Manor in the lead vocals, Bishop Andre Wood singing together, and the Free Spirit Mass Choir singing, "The Lord Wants to Bless Your Soul." Well, I just want to throw that out there and say that to all of you who are tuned in today, that the Lord really does want to bless your soul. He's right now ready, willing, and able to do what you stand in need of. And listen, God is able. He can't fail. He's not a man that he would lie. His word is sure, and it will not return back void. We want to bless you again. This is the Gospel Connection, and we're right here on the Worship Center Radio Network. And we certainly want to bless all of you for joining us. And those of you that might be listening today, you still got time to call in if you want to share something with us. If you got a question about the Fellowship of Music and Arts, you just want to share with Bishop Andre Woods this morning, 248-796-8241, 248-796-8241. Well, as our good friend and brother Denard has said and shared with us about gospel music to all of the young musicians and even to our pastors, sometimes we get calls. They're looking for qualified musicians to share in their church ministry and their music ministry. And certainly we're trying to do our best to prepare a go-to venue where you can help. You can get help for your musicians, and we can help you troubleshoot your music departments and offer suggestions that might help and take you to the next level in your music ministry. It's all free, thank the Lord. And we got some wonderful people on board, some great professionals who have the experience and the expertise to share, and we're going to make all that available. The Fellowship of Music and Arts. Go to Facebook and join us. There's no charge, there's no registration fee to be a part of the Fellowship of Music and Arts. Come on and get on board. And all musicians, I don't care what level of musicianship you're at, we welcome you. All singers and those who are aspiring to be singers, those who are trying to get your projects out. We're creating a platform for independent artists, and we're going to be sharing all kinds of things in musical celebrations and concerts and promoting. And we're just leaving no stone unturned to make sure that you have the best quality opportunity possible given to you. So we are excited about what's going on, and we want you to be a part of it. And don't forget to mark your calendar, save the date for August the 30th, 5 p.m., the Bethel AME Church. We're going to be in a great musical celebration. Our special guest is Brother Greg Eberhardt and the Inkster Community Choraleers of Inkster, Michigan. And then you heard him live right here on the Gospel Connection, Denard McClary, and the Detroit Metro Detroit Fellowship Choir. They're going to be our special guests, and it's going to be a great time. Now, our fellowship choir is made up of you and you. Those of you that come and want to be a part, we want to welcome you to come and share your musical talents and gifts. It's going to be a great time, and you don't want to miss it, because we're going to be doing some wonderful, innovative things in gospel music, and we want you to be a part. And certainly, we want to give shout out to Elder Herman Harris over at Great New Mount Moriah Baptist Church, where his pastor, the Reverend Kenneth Flowers. We want to thank God for him and all of his expertise, and certainly to Greg Pearson over at the Greater Grace. His pastor is Bishop Charles Ellis. Now, those of you that don't know, Greg Pearson has his own company, the Inner Court Music, and he has a studio. And for those who are looking to do recordings, he has his own recording truck now. And certainly you ought to patronize our brother Greg Pearson, Inner Court Music, dynamic person, great musician, songwriter, and arranger within his own right. Minister of music over at the Greater Grace Temple, the City of David, where his very fine bishop is the Bishop Charles Ellis. And we want to say God bless you to Reverend Norma Jean Pender today, and certainly to Dr. Stanley Walden, Dr. Jeannie Connor Fontenot, and Sister Jean Frederick, Anthony Howard, and all of our great people. The Reverend Dr. Gregory Troy is a part of our staff. And, of course, we talked about Pastor Chris Hale and the wonderful fellowship we had with Allen Temple CME Church this past week. We thank God for him. And then Elder Jeffrey LaValle, all the way in Flint, Michigan, right there in the city of Flint. New Jerusalem Full Gospel Baptist Church. God bless you today. And we're just thanking God for all of the many blessings that he has bestowed upon Detroit, the great capital of gospel music. What a joy it is to be a part of what God is doing. And certainly, my friends, those of you who are listening and those of you that want further information, you can always contact us. Again, Facebook, Fellowship of Music and Arts. And then while we're here, 248-796-8241 is the number to call. And then off the air, certainly rebroadcast. You can always go and view this broadcast and hear it again. It's archived thanks to the wonderful technology that we are experiencing right here on internet radio. And to all of our brothers and sisters across the country, in other places, every state, even abroad, we want to welcome you and thank you for sharing and tuning in to the Gospel Connection with your host, Bishop Andre Woods. Well, I want to say this, and this is in reference to some questions I've been asked lately about some of the music that we are listening to. I enjoy all of the contemporary songs and all of the what they call now praise and worship genre, whatever they call it. You know, they got a name for this and they got a name for that. But one of the things I want all of us to note, I want you to note this, and I want you to say you heard it right here from me, Bishop Andre Woods, and it's no disclaimer, nothing, because it's fact. I've watched and researched this. All of the songs that you're hearing now, mostly on radio, and those you're hearing on cable or watching videos on cable television of certain songs, you're going to hear them for a season, and then within 90 days, 6 months, you're not going to hear them anymore, because they're going to be a new release by some of the same artists, new songs coming out. But one thing that Denard McQuarrie brought out is one of the staples of the church. You're going to always hear hymns. You're going to always hear Amazing Grace, Precious Lord. You're going to always hear all of these songs, Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. You're going to always hear these songs somewhere at some time in some worship experience. You may not hear all of what you hear now, what we call top 40 radio, in every worship service that blankets the whole globe when we gather on Sundays all across the world on the first day of the week, which is called by the Bible. When we gather, you're not going to hear a lot of these other kind of tunes and songs that are out there. But what you're going to hear a hymn, you're going to hear something that is going to bless you, that's going to be stellar, and certainly it's going to be consistent. And so what we're trying to do, we're perpetuating gospel music and trying to do it in such a way where we can teach, train, and help develop and continue the legacy and the lineage and the tradition. You know, a lot of people want to throw tradition away, but if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. And that's one of the things that we're dealing with in gospel music. So we welcome you, all of you, musicians, directors, soloists. Listen, make it your business to meet us this Friday on August the 21st at 7 p.m. at the Bethel A&E Church. We're going to be there. We're going to have a short time of what we call mini workshop, and then we're going to have choir rehearsal. We're going to go back and pull some old songs. We're going to do something old, something new. We're going to merge it all together and show you how it can work. And we've got some of the greatest, some of the finest musicians you can find anywhere that they're coming together. And this is what I love. That's why it's called a fellowship. We're going to be in fellowship, sharing ideas, sharing our talents, parking our egos at the door, and coming together to give God glory and praise, because it all belongs to Him. So listen, you are welcome. Whoever you are, don't be shy. Just come on, whatever level you are in music. Don't think that you won't measure up. That's why we're coming together. We're coming to be a help one to another. What I don't know, one of the other guys know, other young ladies. And listen, we want to invite all of our women in music. We have some dynamic female artists and musicians and directors. We want to invite everybody. We're not excluding nobody. We want everybody to come and be a part of the Fellowship of Music and Arts. Mark your calendars again, Friday night, August the 21st. We're going to be there at 7 o'clock. That's the Bethel AM&E Church. Now, we're going back to music. I just had a surprise walking in the door. And my brother Anthony Howard, he's here live in the studio with us. I'm going to holler at him in just a minute. We want to hear a little bit more of this song, Trust Jesus. All right, we got a very special guest in the studio. Praise the Lord. Dr. Anthony Howard himself in person, live.
Praise the Lord, Bishop.
Yes, sir, man. It's so good to have you here with us, and I want to thank you for sitting in for us last week. Listen, we got some good stuff going on, the Fellowship of Music and Art. I want you to holler about it.
Yes, this is really exciting, and it's really has a great deal of momentum. The concert coming up on the 30th of this month at Bethel AME at 5 p.m. There are folks is going to be in the house, so you all really want to be there. You want to be early. They have rehearsals that are coming up. You still have time to join in on those rehearsals. This Friday is the first one. What time is that, Bishop?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. And then we have another one
On
the
the
following
28th.
Friday on the 28th.
Come on.
And what time is that one?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
We'll be
So
right
listen,
there.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
So you want to be there. Detroit needs this.
Yeah.
There's some really exciting things coming out of this. We've been getting calls from all over the country
Yeah.
with people that are excited about what's beginning to happen here in the city of Detroit with Fellowship of Music and Arts.
Yep. Well, listen, our time is far spent. We thank you for joining us today for the Gospel Connection. Thank you, Dr. Howard, for stopping in and being with us. Thank you,
My
Denard
pleasure.
McClary. Listen, be here next Tuesday, 10 a.m. for the Gospel Connection. We're going off with this Bishop Andre Woods and Chosen. He has made me glad. What a wonderful
yes.
day it is. God bless you. And we pray you meet us now Friday, 7 p.m., Bethel AME Church. God bless you is our prayer.
See you there.